order of business is public comment. I see that we have, I see Rep. Ruggiero, I see a few other people. Is there anyone that would like to be heard from the public? And we need to make sure everyone is unmuted so there's the opportunity for public comment. And would anyone like to be heard?
Mr. Chairman, may I make a comment?
I see, I don't see Evan Smith, but I see your name. Sure. If you can just identify yourself for the record, please.
Evan Smith, 137 America Way, Jamestown, Rhode Island. My question for the board this morning would be, is there any document or proposed proposal about the merger with RIDOT? Is there any public information that the Turnpike and Bridge Authority is going to publish on its website or make public for public review? Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. I guess I'll feel that in that this is not something that is the Bridge Authority's proposal, so we don't have anything that we would certainly promulgate. I think it's something that's been discussed, but I'll let the executive director follow on. But we don't have anything on our end because it's not our proposal.
Evan, Laurie Silvera speaking. There is no pending legislation. There is no pending budget bill item. So there is, at this point, nothing to circulate to indicate what a consolidation that we've all heard about a little bit, what it would look like.
Mr. Chairman?
Sure, Rep. If you can just identify yourself for our record, please.
Happy to do that. Good morning. It's Representative Deb Ruggiero, 78 Columbia Avenue in Jamestown. I represent Jamestown and Middletown. And you can see in the background, I have my virtual Newport Bridge in honor of this meeting. I see Eric smiling and Lori. So thank you. I won't take much of your time, but I do want to let you know I have publicly come out against any kind of merger, and the Jamestown Town Council, at my request, passed a resolution on Monday night unanimously, also opposing any merger of the Rhode Island Turnpike Bridge Authority with RIDOT. My concerns are threefold, which I'll share with you. One is that with RIDOT taking over these bridges, the concern is the safety and the maintenance may be deferred or even neglected, much like what we saw on the Secaucus Bridge, which is why just a few years ago, the legislature put these 4 bridges under the purview of the Rhode Island Turnpike Bridge Authority. The second is with RIDOT taking over these bridges, it could constitute a breach of the millions and millions of dollars of bond covenants. And third, and this is more the optics, but as a public servant, it's really important that there's open and transparency in government. This has been a very truncated legislative session, and we are going back in August at some point, the end of August. Right now, as you know, the State House is off limits to the public because of the pandemic, and there are new cases coming through. But we will go back to do a 2021 budget. Should there be any kind of a bill or amendment that comes in at that time, it would really be just wrong to put something of this magnitude without hearings in House Finance, without public input, and without any kind of just robust conversation in the community. So if this is something that the governor is interested in, and I do plan to talk to the governor, I recommend she put it in her 2021-2022 budget so that it's fully vetted. So those are my 3 concerns, and I just wanted to share that with you.
Great. Thank you, Rep. Ruggiero, and thank you, Mr. Smith. Is anyone else from the public? Is there anyone else who would like to be heard?
Thank you for
Great. Thank you for sharing your thoughts. We'll go to our the next item on the agenda is approval of the minutes of the June 10th, 2020 meeting. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
There's a motion and a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Mr. Chairman.
The next item is approval of the legal bill of Panoni Lopes, Devereaux, and
Somebody's
O'Gara.
talking. What?
I'm sorry.
I just had a question.
Oh, sure, Commissioner Waldron.
I received a resolution from the City Council of Newport. It's really aggressive language in it. Is there going to be a time when the board is going to discuss that? Certainly not today, but this whole process that seems to be.
I as well as the city of Newport in opposition to any kind of merger. So it's not before our board. I know Rep. Ruggiero brought it up in the public comment as well as Mr. Smith, but perhaps there could be something on our next agenda as a topic of discussion. I mean, it's not really it's not our place to, I don't know if we have a position or not, because it's not something that's within our purview to decide, but we could certainly put something on the next agenda, Commissioner Waldron, and have a discussion of that. If you'd like, we can add something for sure.
Please, thank you. Sorry.
Thank you. That's okay. So we had a vote on the legal bill of Panoni Lopes and Devereaux. The next item is the bill of Adler, Pollock, and Sheehan. This is for an invoice back in January. The dollar figure was $6,407. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
I'll second.
There's a second. Any discussion? All those in favor, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries.
Did we actually vote on Lopes and Devereaux for the
We-
$10,000?
We did. Would you like to be, you'll be marked in the affirmative on that?
Well, I think it was affirmative, but I know I interrupted you, Flo, so I'm
That's
sorry.
okay. We're going to send you half that bill then, Daryl. The next item of business is ratification, and this ratification, you'll note, covers 2 months because we did not hold a July meeting. The dollar figure is $7,230,966.49. I believe Mr. Offenberg or Mr. Levesque, are you going to handle this?
Yeah, I can give you a quick update on it. If you notice, you look at all the bills, we have 5 active construction projects going. We have construction on the Jamestown Bridge, the Newport Bridge, the Mount Hope Bridge. We're doing electrical work. So there's quite a bit of activity right now. And that's what you'll see reflective of the $7 million for the 2 months is all the construction work.
Great. Let's have a motion, then if there are any questions. Is there a motion to ratify?
I'll move.
There's a motion by Commissioner Morse, a second by Commissioner Waldron. Any questions on any of these projects?
You know, kind of ongoing.
All those in favor of the motion, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to the contract for the routine inspection of the Sakonnet River and the Evans Avenue Bridge, which is located over in Tiverton. The dollar figure is $115,635.62. Do we have a motion to approve?
I'll move.
There's a motion and a second. Just a little discussion, a little explanation on this from Mr. Levesque.
Sure. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So per federal mandate, we're required to inspect our bridges every 2 years. The Sakonnet River Bridge and the Evans Avenue Bridge, which is adjacent to the Sakonnet River Bridge, are due for inspection this year. This proposal is to perform those inspections by Attain. The inspection is due at the end of this month.
We have a motion and a second. Any questions about this contract with Attain?
Mr. Chair, I would just like to make a comment on this. In response to an issue that Director Alviti raised a few months ago on procurement, I did solicit an opinion from council on the procurement issues related to this item and the next item, and I'm satisfied that those items have been properly put before you, properly put through the procurement process, and now properly presented to you.
Thank you.
Laurie, does that mean that this is the lowest bid? Is that what you're saying? Or that there were several bids and this was the one that was agreed upon?
Director Morse, what I'm saying is that these were done pursuant to the qualification process, and then the qualifications of each of those entities that end up on a list of those that are eligible to do inspection projects. The appropriate companies are chosen to submit proposals, and then the proposals are reviewed. And I did submit that because I know there was some questions from Director Alviti, and we do have a legal opinion that this was an appropriate way to choose the companies to do these inspection services.
Okay, thank you.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item deals with the inspection of the Mount Hope Bridge. This contract would be awarded to Majeski and Masters. The dollar figure is $179,700. Let's have a motion, then we'll have a little discussion.
Motion.
There's a motion made by Commissioner Waldron. Do we have second by Commissioner Morse? You lit up. You get the second. Mr. Levesque, if you can just give us a little bit of description on what's going to happen here?
Sure. So similar to the Secana River Bridge and the Evans Avenue Bridge, the Mount Hope Bridge is due for its routine inspection. This inspection is not due until November. And this agenda item is to move forward with the inspection of the Mount Hope Bridge.
Any questions?
I have a question.
I have, yeah.
Director Alviti.
Oh, go ahead. No, you first, please, Judy.
Commissioner Morse.
Well, my question had to do with the overhead charges that they're giving us, 67.75% plus an additional 10%. That's almost double, okay, the base charges for this. And I was wondering, is that reasonable? And also 3,000 miles of travel, where are they coming from? Now I was looking at the details of this one.
That's fair. Mr. Levesque, is that a standard number in terms of
It's
the,
something high.
So it is an audited overhead rate. It's consistent what they've been billing us, and it is reasonable.
so you would say that would compare well with, say, the contract we just let before that? You're saying those are consistent?
Right. So when we vetted the 1910 contract, all of the overhead rates were reviewed with all the consultants that were selected, and they were approved then.
Oh, very high rate.
Is this an extension of an existing contract?
It is. It's originally a 2-year contract. The 2 years isn't over yet, but we have two 1-year extensions once it's over.
So, okay, so now I'm totally confused. Is this one of the extensions, or is this part of the 2-year contract?
So this is part of the 2-year contract.
So this is the second year of the 2-year contract.
It is.
And the price that we're paying them as part of this approval today was the price in the original 2-year contract when there was a competition between several companies.
You talking about the overhead rate or the price?
No, the price.
The price wasn't submitted per the original contract. The prices are submitted when I ask for a proposal.
Mhm.
So the original on-call contract, they don't submit price proposals for
Got
each
it.
bridge.
It's based on technical capability, right?
That's correct. But Majeski and Masters did perform the inspection of this bridge back in 2018. And this new cost that we have, the 179.7, is a 5% increase from their
Got it.
last
Great.
proposal they gave
That's
us.
good.
Okay, I have no more questions. Thanks.
Thank you.
Any other questions from the rest of the board? We do have a motion and a second to approve the contract with Majeski and Masters. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries.
Could you send me a copy of the last inspection report that they did on this bridge?
Absolutely.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The next item is the extension of a contract with Capsh Traffic-Com USA. We'll have a motion, then we'll have a little bit of discussion.
I'll move.
There's a motion. Is there a second? There's a second from Commissioner Waldron. I believe, Ms. O'Connor, can you just tell us what this is, please?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Currently, CAPS Trafficom is what we refer to as our roadside integrator. They handle the maintenance and support for our toll collection system on the roadway. This contract is coming out of its first warranty, maintenance, and support, which expires August 31st, 2020. In the original contract, there were two extension options offered, one for 2 years, one for 1 year. The authority is looking to exercise a 2-year term option beginning September 1st and it for a 2-year period.
So, just so we're clear, how many years has this contract existed?
It went into effect in 2016. The board approved an extension of the original contract. There was an actual amendment to it because there was a delay for the authority approving the original warranty and maintenance. CAPS had to do some work in the plaza on the concrete, and there was some deliverables that were delayed from the vendor. So the authority had a longer warranty and maintenance period. That is what is expiring August 31st. Originally, it was expiring in December, and then the amendment was approved. And now this is the first 2 years. So it went into effect April of 2016.
And just so we're clear, you're satisfied with the work product that they provide?
Absolutely. They've been a valued partner to the authority. As the board well knows, during COVID, they partnered with us to get our outer 2 lanes, what we refer to as AET/ORT, so that we could service the community of Jamestown without contact during this COVID time. And so they've been a great partner for the authority.
Any other questions or discussion on this contract?
Yes.
Director Alvini.
So the options were contracting with them for a 1, a 2, or a 3-year.
No, we only have the options for a 2 and a 1. The 3-year was part of the original contract, and that's what's expiring. And that's
Okay.
when.
Okay, and the reason that you're taking the 2-year term as opposed to the 1-year option is what?
Well, it's less expensive
Yeah, I see that.
than the 1-year option. We're satisfied with them. At this point, probably halfway through this contract, we will look to go out for RFP for roadside. And then we still may exercise the 3rd-year option, but as you can tell, we started the RFP process in 15. It didn't actually take effect until 16, and it's longer than a 1-year period. So halfway through this, we'll begin to look at roadside vendors again. And we may or may not ask the board to consider the 1-year option.
Okay, so for the 2 years, it's $306,000. That's all in, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion to approve the contract with CAPS, please say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The motion carries. The next item relates to our retirement plan advisory services. We went out for a request for proposal. We received 1 submission from Pension Mark Meridian, and they are the incumbent. Let's have there's nothing on the front page, but let's have a motion, and then we'll discuss with the financial effect. Is there a motion to approve?
I'll move.
There's a motion and a second. Ms. Baker, can you just talk about the financial impact for us, please?
Yes, they are the incumbent. They actually sharpened their pencil a little bit on this bid because I compared it to when they were approved last time. And so the prior year, it was $10,750, the prior 3 years, $11,250 and $11,875. They actually came in at $10,000, $10,500, and $11,000. So a little less on the fees than it was the prior contract that they had with us.
And that's the only fee, that's just an annual fee over that 3-year period of the contract, correct?
Correct, yes.
Great. Any discussion, any questions?
I do.
Director Alviti?
It's unclear to me, is this, so was this part of an RFP process that this company was selected through?
Yes. There
So
were-
we had an RFP that recently went out. Did other
Correct.
companies submit proposals?
There was no other companies that submitted proposals.
I understand. And the comparison of cost between this and their previous work that they did for us is comparable?
It's
But-
lower than it was on their previous contract.
Okay.
It's a lower bid.
This is for advisory services only. There is nothing that they will be doing that will be implemented into a new retirement program for employees. Is that correct?
Well, I mean, they are involved, as the board has previously voted on, a change in our retirement plan, but Angel Pension Group is also in this mix, and they work with Angel Pension Group if we need to make a change on the pension document at all.
But this contract, the execution of this contract does not, is not, does any changes in the actual retirement program would have to come before the board. They
Correct,
wouldn't
yes.
Implemented automatically as part of this process.
Right, no. Anything that gets changed to the actual retirement plan always goes in front of the board to be voted on.
Very good, thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions? All those in favor of the motion to approve the contract with Pension Mark Meridian, please say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to our information technology consulting services. We did request a request for qualification, and we had 6 companies who replied. We're going to have Ms. Baker discuss this, but we're going to have a motion to approve consulting IMS, the contract, and then we'll have a discussion of those details.
I'll move.
There's a motion and a second from Commissioner Walden. Maggie, can you just give us a rundown on this, please?
Yes, it is our incumbent that we are asking for the board to approve. The fee, the financial effect is within our budgeted number for the year. And this company, which is a sole proprietorship, basically, one person, available to us 24/7. They know our network system inside and out. And so we feel that we still have more projects to do, and this would be the right vendor for us at this moment. This is a 1-year contract. It does have rollovers in it if need be, or it could be going out to bid again in a year based on what projects that we have.
And I'll just ask the same thing that we asked about the CAPS contract. We are satisfied with the work and support that we received from this outfit.
Absolutely.
I have a question.
Director
How long-
Alviti.
How long has this company been doing business with us?
This is the second of I think it's been 3 years. So this is the second time that they have bid on one of our RFPs.
So they have been our consultant for the last 3 years, and we've picked them again to do it for another year?
Another year, and then with an option to roll it or to go out to bid again. Because we are in the middle of many projects, as stated on that front sheet, that they are working within. And so we want those projects completed without having a new vendor come in.
So if there are always projects that are uncompleted, when will we ever have the opportunity to be able to switch to a new vendor?
Well, at this point, I don't think we have, we have these projects that need to be done, and then someone will have to look at this at the end of the year and see if that is it for those projects. And hopefully these are the largest projects that will be completed.
I would suggest that you endeavor to do that.
Yes.
Sole proprietorship, of course, is, backbone of our economy, are these little businesses like this. But my concern is for a major operation as the one that you have, to have a single person responsible for your IT operations
It's tough.
is probably risky at best. Not to wish any harm on this individual, but God forbid something was happened to this person, you'd be up the creek without a paddle, right? So,
So let me just add that we have an IT team here, a network administrator, and another person. So, I mean, they work in conjunction with this consultant. If for any reason you are correct that something happened to this individual, obviously we would go out to bid. But the state MPA has other computer consultants on their list that we could, work into helping us if that ever did happen. So there are some options there as far as replacing if something did happen that was
and
catastrophic.
you're sure that the work that this person is doing has no proprietary kind of systems in it that would not be able to be picked up by other consultants if necessary.
Well, I mean, our backbone on our IT network is Cisco, but there are other Cisco vendors out there that.
Got it. Okay.
Mhm.
All right. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other discussion? All those in favor of the motion to approve Consulting IMS as our technology consultant, please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. The next item relates to our Public Information and Marketing Services RFQ that went out last month. I believe we had 4 submissions. The recommendation is to basically qualify 2 firms, our incumbent, the RDW Group, as well as Cromwell Public Affairs. I don't believe we'd be entering into contracts with either of these firms. I just want to be clear on that. So let me, before we make a motion, Director Silvera, this is just to qualify both firms not to enter into contracts with either of them?
That's correct, Mr. Chair.
All right, so if we can have a motion to qualify these 2 firms, then we'll have discussion.
I'll move.
There's a motion and a second. Commissioner Morse, do you have a question?
Well, I was just looking at trying to figure out what the maximum fee would be. And based on this, I think it was 60,000. Am I correct by that? 5,000 per month for 12 months. Is that correct? So it's a
believe
1-year
that's-
contract?
I believe that's correct, Director. I don't think, it has not reached that in recent years, but yes, I believe that's correct.
So,
But so,
For RDW, that is.
but we're not actually entering into a contract with RDW. We're just qualifying them. Is that correct?
That's correct.
So these would be, at-will services if we needed them.
if we need it. Okay.
What is on the second page, there is a bid form that shows the various amounts in various years for a retainer. What's the retainer? Retainer implies to me that there is a base amount that we would be paying these companies, irrespective of whether or not we contracted with them to do something for us. So what's the meaning of the retainer?
Well, as the chair indicated, this item is for qualifying these entities. And we expect to have negotiations, but we certainly did ask what their rates would be. The contract that we have had with RDW has included a retainer. And the other one that we are seeking to qualify today, Kara Cromwell from Cromwell Public Affairs, was willing to be flexible in terms of how she would work, whether it would be on a monthly retainer or on an hourly basis. So we were looking to it. We actually debated whether to qualify more than one entity in this case, and decided that it was reasonable to do both. A smaller company such as Cromwell Public Affairs could well save us some money. RDW has, of course, demonstrated to us that it's a full service marketing and public relations company that can help us with media buys as well as communications with the media. So,
as a result of so this is qualification approval only. And when you work out the negotiations, you'll be coming back to the board with your proposal on that, right?
we
Correct.
will.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Issues, we're trying to figure out how much it's gonna cost. Okay.
Any other discussions? All those in favor of the motion to qualify the two firms, Cromwell Public Affairs and the RDW Group, all please say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? The motion carries. The last item on our agenda is the Executive Director's Report. Ms. Silvera.
I of course, must start with the COVID recovery, but I'd like to emphasize the word recovery. We have steadily brought employees back as the traffic and revenue have rebounded here on the bridge and on our other bridges. As we bring them back, we make certain that we're in compliance with the governor's orders, that we not exceed the 66% of the workforce criterion. We're also busy as we reconfigure our existing space. In the tolling and operations department, we have seen the call volume go up as vehicles increasingly use our roads and bridges. And so we are steadily bringing back the call center. Our call center is not yet open. However, that's on the horizon. And we've made certain that virtually every service that we would offer out of that call center has been offered over the phone, over the internet, and at AAA. So, the COVID recovery is definitely, excuse me, a success story. And knock on wood, we're seeing traffic and revenue at steadily at about 75%. We report that daily to the governor's dashboard. And we are looking okay in terms of, and I should, by the way, I called it the call center. The call center obviously is calls. The area we have not reopened is the walk-in center. So that's our COVID recovery efforts. The other thing that I think is pretty exciting to report is that we are partnering with RIPTA on a fare product that they had begun to develop. We think we can pretty quickly put this fare product in play here at the Pell Bridge. If you were sitting in my seat at this desk in the plaza, you would see how many people pull over and cause very serious, dangerous conditions because they're scrounging for $4 on the seat of the car in the glove box. They find out the transponder isn't backed by a credit card that's, that has a good expiration date, or for whatever reason, the transponder isn't working. They need another method of payment. RIPTA has been developing a contactless method of payment called the Wave product. I say it looks like one of my kids would have a Game Boy, a plastic box that would be installed out at the booths and would accept your phone or a plastic card, a credit card-like means, and it would be another means of payment. So for families that have cars going over the Pell Bridge, that have children riding the bus, that have children in cars and not necessarily with wallets that have cash, there will be this other method of payment. We're moving quickly to get the vendors on both sides, on RIPTA and the Turnpike and Bridge Authority side, to work together to develop this additional means of payment. It has more capability than that, but we're starting there, and we're pretty excited that it's an example of partnering with other agencies, as we do with RIDOT, as we do with the DMV, to develop something that will help all Rhode Islanders.
Great. Any questions of the Executive Director?
I do.
Director Alviti.
Turning your attention to the page of your data, that is the monthly traffic and revenue charts. Looking at the revenue paid crossings graph, you can see that beginning in March, there was less than the previous 2 years. By April, it looks like about 1/3 the amount of collections compared to the previous 2 years. In May, it looks like we're back up to half. Any idea what the June numbers are? Right now, that's blank with regard to what the current year is. Do we have any idea what the June revenues compared to the previous 2 years were?
We do, Director, and we're very careful. We're very careful to, because the numbers are unaudited at this point, we're very careful not to say a lot. Those numbers will be available shortly. I'm
Yep.
going to let Maggie, our CFO, on the fiscal year 2021 budget, as we promised you we would have in every board package. So
Right,
Maggie,
but
if you, yeah.
as a ballpark, I'm not looking for specific numbers that, to the penny, that people could hold you up to.
Sure.
On a ballpark, are we still at 50 as we were in May? Are we at 75? Are we at 100, back to 100, near 100?
We're at 75, Director. Where each day,
So gaining.
and we've had a couple of days when we've been fortunate enough to exceed the number from the year before.
Got it.
We compare the day of the week last year with the day of the week this year.
Yep.
And we've had some, when the sun shines and the commuters come over the bridge, it's a magic formula for a good number. We also, because you've asked this, I just want to also note that on some of the documents that we've included, the profit and loss statement, and I realize it only goes through May, but when you look at the column, and that is, I guess that's the third page in, I believe. It's actually the second page, the second page of this item. There's a column that shows the variance. We've saved 80,000 in legal fees. Our toll revenue is down by 118. If you net those out, we're not down by an awful lot.
Right.
There's some other numbers like that. I mean, the interest, Maggie had budgeted interest, and instead of the year to date, what had been budgeted for the prior year, we're looking at about 458,000 in interest. So there's savings in labor because we don't have an 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. Shift at this point. So we have some savings in labor. When we all were looking at this 2021 budget, Director Morse and Director Alviti and all of you, in fact, said we need to keep a close eye. I think we're keeping a very close eye. It's lean, and we're being successful.
Great. We don't know what the total delta is going to be until we get through the entire pandemic, right? But right now, given that you have implemented some cost savings along with the drops in revenue, what do you think that delta is as of at least when you have good numbers, which was May, right, or June? Can you give us an idea of how you're faring in terms of the net delta after the cost savings and the drops in revenues?
Delta in the budget?
In the budgeted in your balance, what do you think the delta in total net losses are going to be for those first 3 months?
Well, let me back up a little bit. June and July, I think we can fairly say we were in the high, almost 70% for June, July, 75% range. Beyond that, we are not going, I guess another way to answer your question, is that we are not going to recover the approximate 25% that we were missing when we hit the bottom in March and mid-April. However, we've made the adjustments. We are also running at about the middle number in the Stantec report, which is a great thing. And we had a little bit extra gas tax that came in recently. So we're looking, we budgeted 15 million for toll revenue, and we budgeted, and that was, as you know, a low number in the Stantec report, which was not much better than a, well, it's better than a crystal ball, but none of us have been through this in our lifetimes before.
Right.
But so we're heading more toward the middle of that Stantec graph in terms
Okay.
of return. So Maggie, is there anything you wanted to add to that?
I would just say June at this point, still unaudited, but it looks good. We hit our toll revenue at this point, almost 99% of what I budgeted for the authority. So we did, we did okay considering what has happened. And then the rest of our revenue put us at about 102% of the entire budget. The expenses are below budget as well. So we'll see what our net revenue is at the, once all the adjusting entries are made, which will be pretty soon. You'll have more data, obviously, in your September board meeting. And July, as Lori has said, has been a good month for us. So we're hitting that Stantec middle piece, and let's hope it continues to go in that direction. And it's covering our expenses. It's covering, the gas tax is covering the debt. And so let's hope it just keeps going that way.
Okay.
That profit and loss statement, the last thing I'll say, there's a lot of good news on that page. So, when you go through all of the numbers and net, pick a number and net it against another number, there's a lot of good news there for us. And not every tolling agency across the country can say that.
Be that nimble. Very good.
That's right.
Very good.
Any other questions?
Good job.
Do we have a motion to adjourn?
I'll move.
There's a motion. Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor of the motion to adjourn, please say aye. Aye. Any opposed? The meeting is adjourned at 9:16 a.m. Have a great day, everybody.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Be safe, everybody.
Thank
Bye.
you.